Hello and welcome to the new video. Today we're going to take a look at the new Necrozma in the Open Ultra League. This Pokemon is now released because the first Go Fest is actually already happening, which is quite wild. I think this is the earliest Go Fest that ever happened, but yeah, after the kind of disaster from last year for Japan, this does make sense to make it a little bit earlier. Also, if you are in Sendai and you're playing the Go Fest and you're watching this video, I would really appreciate if you could use the link in the description and send in some bells for either the Dawn Wings or the other Necrozma, forgot the name of it, or also Marshadow or Rotom Heat. All of those Pokemon are exclusive to the people that are actually in Sendai. For the other people, everybody can actually raid Necrozma through remote raids, which is kind of cool, but you're not able to get the shiny variant from remote raids if you don't have the ticket. For all the people who actually go to the tournament, I want to say, the Go Fest of course, and have a ticket, you can also get the Necrozma as a shiny Pokemon, which is a cool one, especially for the special forms of it. So definitely something that I'm kind of curious in, so if you are actually going to those events and yeah, you are there in the weekend, would really appreciate if you would send in some battles with a link down below. But anyway, today we're going to take a look at Necrozma. Enough talked about that kind of stuff. A Pokemon that is actually quite interestingly ranked on PvPoke. For the Master League, it is quite bad, honestly, which does make a lot of sense because of the kind of moves that you have. Like, that's kind of the issue for this Pokemon. You don't have any kind of cheap moves, but you still need Necrozma, and you still should rate Necrozma because we're going to have at rank 16 Necrozma Dusk Mane with Shadow Claw, Dark Pulse, and Sunsteel Strike. And on rank 7 on PvPoke for the Master League, we're going to have the Necrozma Dawn Wings with Moongeist Beam especially, which is kind of cool. So, it is important to rate one, and also the Necrozma IVs are going to be the ones that are going to matter for the special form of them. So, for you, like, the best thing that you can do is, like, try to rate as many of the Necrozmas if you want to play Master League, and go ahead and have a great time getting good IVs, while you cannot use the main Pokemon itself. As soon as you're going to be able to make them into the Duskmane / Dawnwing form, it is going to be definitely worth it. For the Ultra League, I'm going to take a look here real quick as well. It is going to be very, very bad, to be fair. Our Necrozma that we're running right now is rank 439, and the best Necrozma is the Dawn Wings variant again, which is rank 362, which is not really great. So Master League only Pokemon, but still cool to see this Pokemon in game. Cool to see that the Dawnwing and Duskmane forms are in game now as well. Plus also, those Pokemon are quite good, which is good to see. So definitely something that you kind of want to get. But anyway, we're going to be able to knock out a Sandslash here. And of course, because we're going to have the Necrozma showcase here today, I'm going to let the move go through and just going to give Necrozma 2 shields and look at the Shadow Claw down. Shadow Claw is kind of great for all of the kind of forms. So like this is definitely going to help them out quite a bit. Especially for the Dawn Wings variant, which kind of like Lunala was struggling from not having Shadow Claw as a fast move, which was kind of needed for this Pokemon. But now basically the better form of Lunala is getting this, which is quite mad, and so it's going to be definitely a very solid Pokemon to use here. As the spray comes through, doesn't matter, we can knock out the Tentacruel and move on to the next opponent. We only have like, I don't know, I think we have like 8 battles here or something for the Ultra League. I did 10 in total. Just gonna put in like the better ones for this Pokemon. I have to say, I would have done more battles if I really wanted to, because like it was again like insanely laggy, insanely clunky. It's not a lot of fun to play Go Battle League recently, but I don't think I have to tell that anybody here right now. It is quite mad, like honestly, like it's like a month now where the game is insanely laggy for Go Battle League since the Rediscover Pokemon Go update, rediscover more lag in the game, which is quite mad, but yeah, that is what it is. Here we're going to see the Feraligatr going to get hit by the Grass Knot, and they're very likely going to try to align themselves, which they do here, which is great for them, which is definitely also a very smart play by them. But maybe we can just use our Necrozma for our advantage here, as we're going to be able to use a shield and try to Shadow Claw them down, which is not going to work, but I can still go ahead and let one move go through. It's going to be the Hydro Cannon, and we're going to still be in a decent spot, as we're gonna see now the opponent going to go back into the Ampharos. I can store a Future Sight, and they're going to have a Cresselia in the back, and I was like, I have energy advantage, I have a shield advantage. I feel like we should be able to go for 3 Hydro Cannons, but honestly, I don't think so anymore. I think the opponent just going to outspeed me the entire time. I should be able to go for 5 more fast moves, but as I gonna see here as well, the only thing I can get to is an Earthquake, and so while we can hit this Earthquake, it's not going to be enough. 2 Hydro Cannons most likely would have been enough, but we all see the opponent can go for the Grass Knot, knock me out, and so yeah, I'm forced to go for the full farm node with my Necrozma. We have a Future Sight, which is a very hard hitting move, but the opponent is not a Shadow variant of the Emperor's, just a normal one, and so it doesn't knock them out. I think a Shadow one maybe would have been enough, but yeah, let's move on to the next opponent. Beautiful leaf. Beautiful leaf? Definitely a beautiful leaf there for us. Beautiful lead for us as we're going to encounter the Zygarde swapping. And usually like those kind of things I cut out, but today I don't know, like I kind of feel like putting in all of the things which I kind of say wrong. But anyway, here we're gonna see the Zygarde going for an Outrage, which is kind of good for us. Which this kind of shows as well is that they're actually not running Crunch. Zygarde is kind of awkward for us to deal with, and I encountered so many Zygardes. Why is this the case? Because currently we have Great League, Ultra League, and Master League around. If this is the case, you know for sure for Ultra League and Master League, you're always going to encounter Zygarde, or like those people have like crazy things built for those leagues. And yeah, I'm kinda not too happy with encountering this Pokemon, but it is going to be what it is. Like you kinda want to, or like you kinda have to play the Great League if you don't have like Zygarde built for either of the leagues, because basically people are only playing Great League, or they're playing Ultra League and Master League if they have insane Pokemon built for this. And so here the opponents usually have insane stuff built. Great call by the opponent to let the move go through. Like that is kinda madness. Like an Earthquake would have completely obliterated them. And now we're gonna be in a tough spot. Surfer has to come through here, and as you're gonna see, of course, Necrozma is not made for the Ultra League. I don't have to tell you that, but here we're gonna see the opponent having to take the Dark Pulse from me, which is kinda great, as he can now go for another Dark Pulse afterwards. This is going to be able to connect as well, and gonna get the final shit from the opponent. Now it's gonna be down to Swampert. We can at least still go for another charge move, and I think this kinda seals the deal, as they're gonna be able to knock them out. They're going to only have the Stunfisk. We have 2 shields, and we can actually win this game, which is quite nice. I definitely, was not lying when I said that Zygarde is everywhere here right now. It is quite mad. Honestly, like I'm still at like 10 cells or something like this. Roots are not my thing, especially because I'm not guaranteed to get things. I know there was like a bug back in the day, but like that doesn't work anymore for me. Yeah, I don't know, like roots are not really my thing, to be fair. I just don't really like to go by roots. Anyway, here we're gonna see the Hydro Cannon going to be able to do some nice damage, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna farm them all the way down with Necrozma. But I actually even can reach a Dark Pulse in time, which is quite lovely, as it's going to force a shield from the opponent, and we will see the Ampharos swapping back in now. I can use a shield here actually, as I will be able to force a shield. Their Shadow, one Future Sight would definitely knock them out. And so I'm gonna go for that one. Hopefully they decide to use no shield here, and they don't. They decide to use a shield. And so I can let the move go through. And they make a very smart call here by going for the undercharge, allowing them to get 1 extra fast move in, which is going to allow them to go for that move here in time, which they would have not been able to do otherwise. So very smart play by the opponent, and I'm going to get caught off guard here by the Zygarde. I knew that they would try to swap into it, but like they had great fast move timing there, so like there's not a lot that I can do about it. Here, maybe I should have went for the full farm down, but I did not really want to get hit by a crunch, and so I decided to go for the Grass Knot. I think this is going to be my best bet, but we have to see what they're going to have in the back. It's going to be a Tentacruel. The amount of times I have to say here today where I wish I didn't have Moonblast but had the Psychic type move of Future Sight on this Pokemon, I can't really count the times, but honestly, Future Sight most likely would have won me like 2 or 3 more games if I had it on it and not Moonblast. Moonblast was kinda awkward. Here we are kinda forced to use our Necrozma as like a way of getting rid of the debuff on us, and also I tried to of course catch a move, which did not work out at all. But at least we're going to be able to go still for that Grass Knot. Can we still win this game? We have to hit at least another one here. It does not even knock them out. Like we already know like this does not knock them out, and so sadly we're going to lose this one. But at least they still can go for 1 Acid Spray just to disrespect me, which is fine. But let's move on to the next opponent. Great lead, right? Kinda. Like, we gonna see here the opponents hopping into a Mandibuzz. And yeah, like, I kinda want to talk about the team as well real quick. Swampert in the lead is going to be a Pokemon that I just want to try out. Like, we are not really in a serious way right now, and I have not really seen too many Swamperts in either Great or Ultra League. And so I was like, yeah, maybe I'm just gonna try it out. Maybe it is better than people, like, think it is. it is not. Like, it is kind of outdated, which is quite mad to be saying here, that Swampert is outdated. Like, it's not a bad Pokemon, like, don't get me wrong, like, outdated doesn't mean it's bad. But yeah, like, it is not on par anymore towards, like, what the meta is. It's just, like, not hitting hard enough. It is just not having the bulk enough for that. I don't know what it is, but it feels, like, really outdated for the current meta. Can't even really tell you why. Like, honestly, I cannot even really tell you why. But, there's reasons why Swampert is kind of vanished from all of it. And this kind of thing that I don't really like about PvP and how everything kind of develops. And that's like something what people don't really understand, because I know a lot of people don't like that, like nerfs happening for Pokemon Go and like for moves and stuff like this. And it is just necessary, because you always have this power creep. Like, you are always going to have the power creep because you have way more buffs than nerfs, which is a good thing, of course, like having more buffs and getting more Pokemon viable. But at the end of the day, you're always going to have like that power creep in order to have that kind of a change in the meta. You can either really nerf something hard, which barely happens, or you have like a Pokemon that all of a sudden gets like super overpowered. And like Pokemon that don't get updated usually kind of fall off quite fast with it. And like, that's something that happens to Swampert at least a little bit here, as you're gonna see a Swampert on our opponent's part as well. But just happens to like so many Pokemon that were like meta back in the day, but are just falling off the meta because they just don't get updated. For example, also something in the Great League, Haunter, a Pokemon that I really enjoy, is just barely usable anymore, even though it was like actually really good and top meta in the first like 2 seasons, but like it hasn't got an update since. So I think it got Ice Punch actually, which does not really help it too much. Anyway, we're going to see the next opponent here. We're gonna see double Tapu, and so this is something that I find kind of an interesting actually thought process, because this is something that you can really do in like metas where teams are very clear. For example, in the Master League, where you have like something like Ho-Oh Double Dragon being very common, to go out of your way and completely fool the opponent. And here, for example, we have Tapu Koko in the lead, we have the Say Stop of Tapu Fini. I was expecting Tapu Bulu in the back, because like triple Tapu, like somebody is definitely memeing here. And so I was kind of playing towards this kind of idea of having like triple Tapus. And what you're gonna see basically what I mean with that as well soon, as you're going to see here that the opponent is going to be able to go ahead and go back into the Tapu Koko. Most likely gonna go for the full farm down. I was quite lucky, because I'm gonna get the debuff here, which is very lucky for me. But what you're gonna see me doing here is I decide to let the move go through, for the pure reason, because I thought it's going to be Tapu Bulu in the back. I definitely still need my shield on my Necrozma. If they would survive this move, I would let the move go through as well then, and just, yeah, okay, they actually survive, but they don't go for the charge move, and just let this Pokemon go down. But it's actually going to be a Registeel, which kind of caught me off guard. It does not really matter, but I wanted to sacrifice my Swampert here, and that would have been a little bit tough, because I don't think a Necrozma can go through that big wall here. But let's take a look at how much damage they're gonna do. Quite a bit, but doesn't really matter, as we can now move on to the next opponent. Final opponent for today, by the way, we're going to encounter Tapu Fini in the lead and a Muk in the Say-So position here against our Psychic type, which is not really great. At least you can still reach that future side, being only single resisted. Still doing quite a lot of damage. Again, the Necrozma is doing quite a lot of damage, which is kind of cool. But it is kind of a tough Pokemon to play for the Ultra League. And again, like, I don't think anybody is going to go ahead and be like, yeah, Necrozma Ultra League, go brr. Like, it is not a Pokemon for this. Like, you kind of want to go ahead and get a good one for the Master League. And if you don't play Master League, then maybe don't rate it. You don't really need it, to be fair. It's not a great attacker, I think. Maybe a Dawn Wings is actually a decent attacker, I think. Like the Lunala plus Necrozma clone thingy there, because it is a very good, I think, ghost type attacker. You have Shadow Claw, you have Moongeist Beam, should be very decent. But anyway, like, if you don't do like PvP for Master League, it's not really too interesting for the Ultra League, unlike something like a Giratina, a Cresselia. There are quite a lot of good legendary Pokemon for the Ultra League, but those are not really it, because they have too high of a CP stat. Anyway, we're going to see the Giratina here, going to use a shield against our Moonblast. I can let the move go through, it's going to be a Dragon Claw. By the way, if you see like those starter things here as well, while the gameplay is sped up by 1.8 times, this is not on you. This is on the gameplay, this is on Niantic. It is definitely not on my phone. My phone is a really good one in theory. And it's also a very good one outside of Pokemon Go, but for Pokemon Go it's just hot garbage. Honestly, I wish I did not get this phone, because like any kind of iOS phone is currently way better. Or like for basically the existence of Pokemon Go, it's way better. Here, maybe I should have tried to go for the Hydrocan, but I know that the Hydrocan doesn't knock them out anyway. But I also know that Water Gun is going to be enough to just farm me down here. And so sadly, we're going to barely lose the final battle. I feel like this was a winnable one. I don't know how I would have been able to win it, but I just felt like it would be a winnable one. But this is also going to be it for the video. If you enjoy those type of early showcases, feel free to leave a like, subscribe if you have not already, and check out the video on the screen. See you then. Bye bye.